Hi, Jade, Mr. Fisher, one more time. I certainly hope that you found this course useful this summer. I see a lot of development and growth in your writing. And just as you continue into English 112, I hope you continue to ask questions and challenge your instructor to help you get better. I've enjoyed working with you. I'll say a few things about the draft you have and leave you some ideas to think about as you finish out the final draft, which it looks like you'll be developing some more over the weekend. The way you've got the thesis set up, I mean, sometimes this could kind of work. If students want to see a change in uniform requirements and be able to freely express themselves, students are going to have to find a way to talk with their teachers and convincing the schools or school boards. I'm not really sure this is the student's responsibility or the teacher's responsibilities. To me, this whole issue comes from a kind of assumption about, I don't know, about clothing, young people. It seems to be a really sort of conservative idea that if everyone wears, I guess the whole purpose of uniforms, that people pull together, they sort of surrender themselves and become part of a team. So I would maybe try to start with that general notion of what is it people assume about uniforms that make them popular. And I guess if you begin with that, it's going to be in contrast to the Matt Rauscher statement here. I think the positioning of this quote sort of in the middle of that paragraph works pretty well. And I think really if you want someone to do something, it is for probably parents, school administrators, school boards to come to the realization that this kind of old-fashioned way of thinking about this issue is wrong and is actually harmful. I mean, that's the reason to change it. You seem to have found some evidence that this is one of those solutions that maybe doesn't even really have a problem, but it is a solution that causes more harm than it does good. All right. I think I give you a different way to rephrase this. I think what you're talking about is restrict cartoon images on clothing. I think that seems to be the idea. I don't know if Rauscher gave the examples here, but I was kind of curious which cartoons are being banned on these clothes. I think when you get to this paragraph here about self-image, this seems to be, to me, the real kind of crux of your paper. And I think this is where you want to do some more research. You may even need an additional source than this NBC News story. And really what I'm left at the end of this wanting to know, how do uniforms make it worse? I don't necessarily mean here what is the brain's chemistry or the psychology, but what is it actually that why is it the students feel worse about themselves, or I guess as a result of this comparison, if they're all wearing the same thing? Or in other words, how would maybe non-uniforms hide this or change this or help students adapt better? I'm a little lost, and this is clearly the point here where I need to be better educated, and I'm counting on you to do it. The "it" here, I think, clearly refers to a school uniform grammatically, but you've kind of lost what you're talking about up here. And I think by the time you get here, you're in the quote, you're going to have to insert within brackets what "it" means. So replace the word "it" with a school uniform in brackets. And again, maybe this becomes that mini research project I've talked about before, where you just go in and find another source to help flesh this out. This is as big an issue as it sounds like it is. Other people have written about it. Or maybe Silverman has talked about it in another piece as well. The financial situation, I think this is really, really true. I know school uniforms can be expensive. Certainly if a family is living, shopping at Goodwill because of their financial situation, it's hard to do the uniforms that way. I think what I'm asking for here is examples of how much do these uniforms cost? What is the outlay of cash? And even if it doesn't seem like a lot to most people, certainly for struggling families, it can be a real hardship. So see if you can find out or find a source to help flesh that in. How much does a family, say with 4 children, have to pay, or 2 children or something like that? As we go on, this I did kind of like the basic argument against this was the time-saving thing. I like this for a couple of reasons. One is it's probably true. I mean, yeah, I had a daughter. Our daughter in middle school did wear uniforms, so I suppose that was probably true. And what you do with that is really, what I've talked about. You kind of concede the point. Yes, you can agree that it helps with punctuality, but this is the more important thing. I think in doing this, you could also suggest that students need to learn punctuality. They won't be wearing school uniforms, when they go off to college or when they're, working after high school. Learning punctuality is maybe one of those things they should be learning, and in an artificial environment like school uniforms doesn't help. But you can do exactly what you've done. I have some sympathy for that idea, but the bigger point is freedom of expression and the damage. All right. So looks like you're, I think, on about 700 or so words. It looks like you need about 250 more words to or maybe a little more than that, to reach the threshold for this assignment. I think I said around 1,500. And I don't think you necessarily need more reasons, although you might come across them. If you find a third reason, then add it in there. But you do need to get at that of this idea. I think you can clearly see your shortest paragraph is right now probably your most important reason. So see if you can find some help for Silverman to make this point. All right. Do look forward to seeing the final version of this. This is a topic I usually try to. I don't really steer students toward this this idea. I think it's been kind of done to death, but it seems like there's new research about it, and in that regard, I look forward to seeing what else you find. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Take care.